Hi everyone, so today I'm doing a little bit more of an unusual video. It's probably something that you never really expected me to talk about, but as you can see by the title, the video is about hot wax. Basically, I just kind of figured I talk an awful lot, and in some respects I'm recommending beauty products and nail products and things like that. And as I'm soon to be a qualified beauty therapist, this is obviously a treatment that I'm trained in, and equally it's a treatment that I've received as well, and I figured that maybe a lot of you may not have heard of it or experienced this, so I wanted to talk about it a little bit and give you a sort of little demo as well. So I hope you enjoy watching this video. Okay, so I'm just going to give you the basics of waxing. To be honest with you, 2 years ago and beyond, I actually hadn't ever been waxed before. I think I attempted once those sort of home strips, whereas they don't need anything really doing to them. You just warm them up by rubbing them in your hand, apply them to the skin and remove them. That didn't go very well, so I'm going to talk about the professional systems and maybe give you more of an idea if you are looking to be waxed or looking for a new treatment, give you an idea of what to expect. So I'm just going to start off and tell you about what I think is the most popular and available treatments that are in a salon. Now, this one that I'm showing you here is warm wax. There's all different types of brands. This is the brand that I use, but this is the one where they warm it to a certain temperature, apply it to the skin, apply the strip on top, and then remove quickly in the opposite direction to hair growth. They have, like all treatments, got the plus sides and the downsides to it as well. The plus sides is that you can do large areas, so for example you could do a full leg, or if you're a male you could do the chest or the back, and you can do that pretty quickly and obviously get on with your day. The downsides is that it can leave a sticky residue, which can be a bit annoying. For example, if you've had your underarms waxed, then you know, every time you put your arm down it's sticking. It is, believe me, rather annoying to do, but as I said, you know, it is kind of one that's a bit quicker if you just really want to get in there and out there. So that's the first one. This is hot wax, which is also known as stripless wax. I just wanted to give you more information about the two so you can distinguish them, but hot wax is really what I wanted to talk to you about. So this one is a different type of formula. Again, it's still heated in the heater. It's heated at a slightly hotter temperature, but you know, nowhere near hot enough to maybe burn you or cause any damage. It's just slightly warmer than the warm wax. But the way that they apply it, again with the spatula, but there's no strip involved, it basically hardens onto the hairs only. It doesn't stick to the skin, but just effectively clumps onto the hairs. And what the therapist will do is that he or she will flick the lip on the actual hardened area and then just pull in the opposite direction, just like with the warm wax and the strip, but this will literally just be directly from that area of the hot wax, so there's no strip involved. Now, the good thing with this, and this is why I wanted to mention it so much, is because there's no pulling to the skin. So in a lot of respects, although it's not pain-free, it's definitely a lot less painful. If you can imagine when you were a child maybe and you used to pull off a plaster, then obviously when you pulled that off, it did pull the skin even if there was no hairs there. But with hot wax, because it's not stuck to the skin at all, it literally only pulls out the hairs. Another benefit to this is that you actually don't get very many, if any, red marks onto the skin, because there was no pulling action there. Depending on the area that's being waxed, sometimes you may get a little bit of spots of blood, and you know, that's generally more with maybe a bikini wax or an underarm wax, but it's basically a wax formula, whereas that you can effectively leave the salon without it being obvious that you've been waxed. Obviously you can have your eyebrows or your lip or your chin waxed, and then people won't necessarily know about it, as it generally doesn't leave a mark. That being said, the only downfall that actually is for this type of wax is that it can't really be used on large areas. Of course, in theory it can be used anywhere, But the only thing is, in a salon, because of the time that it takes for it to harden and then to be removed, that it's a lot quicker for large areas for it to be waxed using the warm wax, because, you know, it's a lot quicker. Put the wax on, remove it with the strip. So for that reason, it's only really offered on those smaller areas for hair removal. But that's the only real downfall that this product has, as it doesn't pull on the skin and only really the hair. This is why it's perfect for intimate waxing. So if you're having maybe a Hollywood or a Brazilian, then obviously it's not pulling onto the skin and causing that extra pain with those delicate areas. So if you are a regular for that, or it is a treatment that you actually go for, then it might be worth looking out for a salon that does offer hot wax or stripless wax. So I thought I'd give you a little bit of a demo of what it's like, maybe just give you a bit of more of an idea. Here I've actually got my heater and I've had the hot wax heated up to the correct temperature. I'm just going to show you on my hand. There's the wax and I just apply it on. It's applied pretty thick, and then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to keep tapping it. As you can see, it's still sticky. It's quite stringy as well, but it pulls off so easily and doesn't leave any sort of residue on the skin. So if I just let that cool down, it's nearly done. It's done on this side, I just need to wait for that side. Obviously with the therapist, then they should always tighten the skin. So for this, for my hand, I'm just going to make a hard fish shape just so that the skin is taut. Okay. It's completely hardened now, so you just flick off one side and then rip it off, and that's it there, and then that's the wax. Obviously if there was hairs on my hand, then they would be embedded into that wax there, but there it is. And as you can see by my hand, there's no redness at all. This type of waxing is actually perfect for anyone that does have a more of a coarse hair type, and just because it grabs it a little bit better than the warm wax and removes the full hair along with the root as well, which of course means that it will last longer in between your waxing sessions. So this is definitely something that, if you do suffer from that, something that you might want to try out. Obviously with all waxing there is some aftercare advice that you do need to abide by, just for your own sort of benefit, as believe me, it's not fun having any issues afterwards. But generally for 24 hours you'd be best not to have a hot shower or bath, just because the pores are open and obviously effectively they're open to infection as well. Another thing is that you do need to try and stay away from itching the area, just because any dirt under the nail, and believe me, as clean as you may be, any dirt that could be caught under the nail can go into the open pore, and for that reason it may cause folliculitis. So that's one to definitely stay clear and try not to do so. And then the last one is just to try and avoid the sun for those 24 hours as well. Again, just because the pores are open, best not to do that. So that being said, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video and that you've found it useful. If you have tried this treatment or had that done, then please, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. But thanks very much for watching.